We live in an era where our existence is often measured by the speed of a reply, where every notification demands our immediate and undivided attention. We are constantly plugged in, wired to a digital pulse that never sleeps, drowning in a relentless stream of data that blurs the lines of our reality. But in this race to stay connected, are we actually losing touch with ourselves? Are we truly present, or just fading away into the endless digital noise? The weight of the world sits heavy on your shoulders, a symphony of chaos that leaves no room for silence, no space for the soul to breathe. We have become ghosts in our own lives, haunted by the expectations of others and the terrifying fear of missing out on something that doesn't matter. It is time to ask ourselves if this constant connectivity is worth the price of our inner peace, or if we are simply afraid of the quiet. David is a successful projects manager, a man who has built a life on efficiency and speed, yet he feels more like a machine than a man. He moves through the world like a shadow, his mind always 3 steps ahead, never tasting the air or feeling the ground beneath his tired feet. He is trapped in the loop of doom scrolling, searching for a spark of life in a digital void that only leaves him feeling more empty and hollow. Inside, he is a field that has been over-farmed, a landscape stripped of its nutrients because it was never allowed the grace of a fallow season. He reaches a threshold, a boundary between the world he knows and a forgotten silence that calls to him from behind the ancient, rusted iron bars. The city noise begins to fade, replaced by a silence so profound it rings in his ears, a warning and a welcome all at the same time. The next morning, he finds an old gardener working in the mist, his hands moving with the slow, deliberate wisdom that David has long since forgotten. Each movement is a prayer, a conversation with the earth that doesn't require words or data, only the patience to listen to what the season demands. David watches him, unable to understand why anyone would spend time on something that looks so dead, so barren, and so completely devoid of life. "Why do you cut these branches away?" David asks, his voice trembling slightly with the weight of his own exhaustion and the need for some answers. The old man smiles, a look of profound understanding crossing his face. "Trees need the winter to disappear into themselves," he says softly to the wind. Without this stillness, without this period of apparent death, they would never find the strength to bloom when the warmth of the spring finally arrives. The gardener's words hang in the air, a simple truth that strikes David with the force of a revelation he was never prepared to receive today. He begins to understand that his constant activity was not growth, but a slow suicide of the spirit, a refusal to let the winter take hold. Disconnecting is not an act of cowardice or running away from reality. It is a vital act of self-preservation, a way to protect your inner essence. Like the tree pulling its sap down into the deep roots, we must learn to withdraw from the world's demands to find our own true rhythm. He closes his eyes, and for the first time in years, he hears the sound of his own breath, a steady anchor in a world of storm. When the screen goes dark, the world becomes bright. The silence is no longer an enemy to be feared, but a sanctuary where he can rest. He sees the beauty in the broken, the strength in the dormant, and the intricate map of a life that doesn't need to be seen to exist. We need to disappear from the expectations of others to reappear in the truth of ourselves. This is the sacred art of the inner harvest. Disappearing is an art form. It is the courage to be silent when the world screams for your attention, the bravery to simply be without purpose. When you are brave enough to be still, your inner voice finally has the space to speak, guiding you back to the person you used to be. You do not need to be constantly visible to be valued. You do not need to be always reachable to be important to the people you love. He touches the cold water and feels the electricity of life, a connection far more powerful and real than any network could ever provide him. The world becomes clear when you stop looking through a lens and start looking with your heart. The clarity is breathtaking and deeply healing. From this height, the city is just a flicker of light, a distant hum that no longer has the power to pull him into its frantic, empty race. He has found the key. To find yourself, you must first be willing to lose the world. You must be willing to truly vanish for a while. Do not fear the winter of your soul. Do not be afraid of the times when nothing seems to be happening on the cold, hard surface. Because it is in that very stillness, in that deep and quiet dark, that the most vibrant and resilient parts of you are preparing to rise. He returns not as a slave to the rhythm of the machine, but as a gardener of his own time, nurturing the life that truly matters. Disconnect to find yourself. Turn off the noise to hear your truth. Allow yourself the grace of silence, starting right now, in this very moment. Give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to disappear. That is where your new story begins. That is how you truly come alive. Embrace the silence. Let your soul breathe. This is Soul Flora, rooted in wisdom, growing in grace. We'll see you in the next bloom.